people in the Crimea wanted to be part of Russia, so they're justified in taking it. Isn't that kind of like what happened in the 30s with the Sudetenland?
Yep, just give me a little bit more land. I promise I'll stop. It'll be different this time,
Yeah.
baby. I won't hit you, I swear.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this an
How many more videos?
Is this an
are we gonna
impersonator? Depends how
How
many
many more?
how many times you're gonna keep blatantly lying about stuff.
Well, how many times are you going to keep trying to piggyback off my name? Back-to-back videos last week about me.
Well, yeah, I do.
That
I
is
do the.
insane.
Were you?
Yeah, I do the long form version, and then I usually upload the shorter version, which has the link to the longer form version.
Long-form videos about me is very kind of you.
Yeah, I don't like propagandists
It's absurd.
I don't like propagandists who blatantly lie.
Propagandists who blatantly lie. What do I lie about?
Here,
Who
let's
is
see.
this guy?
This is the guy I made the videos on.
I get
how
I get
about
triple his viewership in a 5-minute video after
it's-
5 minutes?
how about wait, Lion, hold on. So what did you lie about? What about the fact that you showed this image and stated that it was a confirmed F-35 shot down?
Iranian state media.
You said that it was a fact. Yeah, Iranian state media posted that, and if you know anything about anything, you know that that's a blatant fucking lie. And for you to state that that is in fact an F-35 is a blatant lie and misleading every single one of your viewers.
So you don't believe the media, any media? We just totally, if it doesn't align.
Are you telling me? Wait, hang on, Lion, hold on, Ethan. Are you telling me that this is an F-35? You believe this to be an F-35?
It's the remnants of a jet that has been downed and destroyed.
So can you tell me? Can you tell? But you claim, but then why did you claim it was an F-35 if it's unidentifiable?
Because the Iranians claimed it was an F-35, and it was clearly on their grounds. They did research on it, found out what it was.
You realize this is an AI generated image. No plane looks like this. There is no airframe. There is no airframe. There is no airframe in existence that looks like that. Nor is there an airframe that Israel has that has a green Star of David right next to the engine.
Well, they have a Star of David on their flag, and they do have Star of Davids on multiple aircrafts. And the reason that fighter jet doesn't look like any other fighter jet in the world is because it's in remains. It's destroyed. It's in half. It doesn't even work properly.
This is where the Star of David is on the F-35s that Israel has, and it's in gray and white. Also, the reason
everything Israel has.
I'm showing you physical evidence that you blatantly lied.
Sam, can you show us the back of an F-35, please?
Oh yeah, I have that image too, right here. Here's the back of an F-35.
This is the issue.
So let's pull up photos that align with the narrative of a destroyed jet.
No, we're gonna pull up an actual photo of an actual F-35 and then compare it to this.
Well, that's a destroyed F-35. So
wait, okay, wait. Let's hang on. Let's look at the cockpit here. Let's look at the cockpit. This is what the cockpit of this plane looks like. Why does it not look like the cockpit of that? It's an entirely different shape.
There's no way you just said that when it clearly looks like that.
It's an entirely different shape.
Oh my God.
Showing it back and forth to everybody. That is literally the same shape.
Okay. Hang on. So right here we have the back of the back of the canopy right here. It's a straight line up and down. Okay, let's see the length of it there. You're telling me that this isn't a canopy right here?
Look at the wing shape.
Look at the wing. We haven't even gotten to the wing shape. Let's look at the front of the plane. The front of the plane.
Photos. These exact photos of the fighter jet, of a U.S. jet versus an Israeli jet. One of them is destroyed. One of them is destroyed and demolished. So we're assuming that they're the same exact model, same exact replica of a photo you found on the internet that doesn't have a date, that we don't know where it came from, versus a photo from the verified government office of Iran. We're going to take your word for it on a Google search. Go for it, man. Make another video about me. Piggyback off of
Yes, because hang on, Ethan, I don't care.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I don't care, but Ethan, that is not what an F-35. The shape of an F-35 doesn't just miraculously change. We can't just fake the shape of an F-35. So as I'm showing you here, the image that Iranian state media posted, this is what we can see here. This is the canopy right here. This is the back of the canopy. Right here, we see the center of the fuselage of the plane developing right here. But this, again, is the canopy.
Jet.
Yes, because if this is an F-35, every single F-35 is going to be exactly the same. But when we look at this one, can you show me a model of an F-35 where the cockpit looks different? Right here, though, look, it's at an angle. It's at a swept angle. It's completely different. Also, where is the engine positioned? The engine is positioned center of the rear ailerons right here, or the vertical stabilizers. It's in the center of the vertical stabilizers. In fact, we see the start of the engine is almost near the front of the wing. But when we go back to look at this image, it starts behind the horizontal vertical stabilizer. Are you telling me that this is the same thing?
From Google, where's that footage taken? Who took the photo? What military is using it? When it was taken? That's important stuff. You can't just pull a photo of a fighter.
Are you telling
me?
Are you telling me that there's different F-35s that had completely different airframes?
Every fighter jet is going to be completely different based off of
these no. The shape of the plane is the same. The airframe itself is the same. These are both supposedly F-35s. So in theory, because they are both F-35s, they should both be exactly the same.
Okay, so one which was blown up and destroyed is supposed to look exactly the same as the other? That makes sense.
I'm sorry. Hang on. Wait. So wait, Ethan, you're right. It's not the same. So why?
Yeah,
so hang on.
Blown to shreds.
Wait. So blowing this plane to shreds somehow moves the engine fucking 15 feet backwards while still being intact?
I need to turn it. Hold on.
This is fucking hilarious. Wait, this is the same guy who said that Netanyahu fled to Greece when even the Greek government.
No,
said
we're
that
not.
he
No.
didn't-
Don't
he
give him something to pivot on. Don't give him something to pivot on. I want to stick to this. I want you to tell me. No, I want you to explain to me how the engine. I want you to explain to me how blowing this plane up magically moves the engine 15 fucking feet backwards to where it starts behind the wing.
Well, number one, we don't know where that Google search image is from. You just
This is from the U.S. Navy. This is from the U.S. Navy. This is an F-35.
I can say it too. I can say exactly where that's from. One's from the Iranian state TV, which is confirmed, and that one I'm just having to take your word, which is apparently from the U.S. Navy. I can go Google search anything I want right now, pull it up on my live stream, and then act like I'm saying something that's correct. That doesn't mean it's correct.
That's what you do in your videos.
Oh, it's what I do in my videos.
No, I want you to prove to me that airframe is an F-35. Show me any indication, any part of the plane that matches up. Because fucking blowing up an airframe, if it lands, when the Su-30 got shot down over Kursk a couple days ago, you know what I could still do when I looked at the crashed airframe on the ground? I could still positively identify it as an Su-30 because the shape of the airframe was still the same. You know what I can't do with this image?
Ukrainians were violating Russian airspace over Kursk. I like that.
Fuck their airspace. No, I'm giving you an example. Fuck their airspace.
It's a war. It's not a war. That's a
special military operation.
It is a military operation.
Who cares? Let's get back to this.
Ukraine, yes or no?
It is not an invasion. It's an operation. What kind of invasion do you withdraw your troops from the capital city? They could have had Kyiv in a 6-hour battle. They withdrew.
Wait, Ethan. Why were Russian soldiers killed with parade uniforms and 3 days of food rations in their backpacks around Kyiv?
Because they were expecting to take Kyiv, and they withdrew because Boris Johnson told the Ukrainians to blow up the peace deal in Istanbul.
So Zelensky saying that's not true means nothing?
Okay. That is clearly true. That is what the U.S. CIA...
Were you in that meeting?
Reports of it. Were you in that meeting?
No, but I have who was in that meeting saying it. I have who was in that meeting saying it.
Oh, so Zelensky says it. So we're taking Zelensky's word exactly the truth.
When Zelensky said when Zelensky says I was never going to accept these deals in the first place,
yeah, because Boris Johnson told him to say that. So it wasn't obvious that the Russians withdrew because of that deal blowing up on purpose. Of course, Zelensky isn't going to say, yeah, we withdrew from it to force the Russians to withdraw.
I must have missed when a withdrawal. I must have missed when a withdrawal included leaving behind all your fucking tanks as you sprint away.
Well,
yeah, it was a show of goodwill.
No. A show of goodwill does not mean abandoning brand new T-90s as you run away like a coward. What?
There's a difference between abandoning and the enemy force following you in a retreat to where you're not able to grab your tanks on the way out.
You mean the tank that you were the tank that you were already in and could have turned around and driven away?
Wait a second. There's also a difference between. Wait a second. But I thought it was a show of goodwill.
It was a show of goodwill.
It can't be both. You can't be You can't be going, oh no, I'm retreating and not able to get my stuff, and a show of goodwill at the same time, dude. You
They
just
didn't do the
contradicted
first one.
yourself.
It was a show of goodwill by
I s-
withdrawing from the
I
capital
s-
so that the Russians show the Ukrainians that they're
I still,
taking the peace proposal seriously.
I still want to get to this. I still want to get to this because I'm still trying to figure out
A
how.
random.
Hang on, no, I still want an answer as to how, if you take the back of this plane, which is an F-35 Lightning, how the engine, which starts right here, almost at the front of the vertical stabilizer, how blowing this plane up magically moves it all the way to the back behind the wing. How does that happen?
Well, we don't know where the first image is from. That's a Google search, and also they're different angles. So how are we supposed to completely match up two different angles of two different places, of two different sources on two different Google searches? If we don't know where the second plane even came from, the Iranian state media tells us they shot down an F-35 over their airspace. That's
Here,
what
let's
we've
look
got.
up.
Google search.
An
There
Israeli
we go.
F-35. Yep. Okay, so that's what we know an Israeli F-35 looks like. Oh, look, the engine starts at the same spot.
The same spot as the image? Yeah, correct.
No, it does.
Iranian.
Yeah, Sam's
Wait,
image,
wait,
not
wait,
yours.
wait, wait. No, wait, dude. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. You got to be kidding me. There's no way you're going to double down on this. Hold on. So let's
So
take
you're going
this.
this far
Hang on,
to
hang on.
defend the Israeli
Hang on,
government?
hang
Is
on,
that
hang
you're
on,
gonna go this
hang on.
far?
I'm calling out liars. Okay, so right here, look. Engine starts right here. Engine starts right here. The wing is right here, which means that the top of the engine starts right here. But in your image,
You're moving your line. That's not even
No,
a straight
the
line.
engine-
That is clearly angled. It's a circle. You're drawing a
Yes.
semicircle saying this is clearly straight.
the engine's like this. It's a circle, correct. Now, but even if that wasn't the case, let's say, cool, right here, center part of the wing. The engine in your photo starts back here. Let's look.
Dude,
Let's look again. Let's look
the
again.
idea-
Let's look again.
the
Oh, look,
idea-
right back here. It starts behind the wing.
Well, it's clearly also ripped. So that also makes it appear
Ripped.
different than what it is. And it's a
Ripped?
down destroyed fighter jet. You're comparing a fully functional fighter jet from something we don't know to a destroyed Israeli in pieces, burning in flames fighter jet that crashed.
So at best with your argument, you can say that you don't know, but you've decided to believe the IRGC.
Wait. Here's even better. Hang on. Here's even better.
The
So,
IRGC
hang on,
or
here's even better.
Anthony
Wait,
Scott
this is-
on TikTok Live.
yeah, I'm a literal military expert and who knows a lot more than the fucking Iranian media using an AI generated image. So let's look at here.
So we're gonna
Hang on,
listen
look,
to
look,
Anthony
look,
Scott, a
look.
random
Cool.
guy on TikTok
Cool.
versus
Hey,
the
hey,
official
this
IRGC
plane was shot down, right?
Yes.
This plane was shot
This
down.
is-
Wait.
Dude, I would let Freddy Krueger babysit my children before I believe the IRGC.
Hang on.
anything.
Wait. Here's a big
Now
one.
we're just
Here's a big one.
trolling.
Here's a big one. So the wing is center line of the fuselage right here. The wing is center line of the fuselage, right? We can all agree this is an Israeli F-35. The wing is right here, center line. Where's the wing attachment? Because it should be.
It's destroyed.
No. Because the spot where the wing should be is right here. We can see the center line of the fuselage right here. That's where the wing should be. But we don't see our wing ripped off. We see no damage at all. So where did the wing go? Where did the wings just? Also, where's the attachment for the horizontal stabilizer right here? There's no
Well,
attachment
saying-
point at all.
So you're just assuming that they're the same exact jets and the same exact model. We're just taking your word for it then. Somebody
Because
on
an
TikTok Live,
F-35
we're
is
taking your word.
because an F-35 is an F-35 regardless of what country owns it.
Oh, there's not different models, makes. The Israelis couldn't modify it. So we're saying they're just all the
No.
exact same, and we're going to take your word. No, exactly.
That is,
So we're gonna take
no.
your
That is
exact
correct.
word
The
for it.
F-35 is the
Yeah.
F-35. There are different variants that have different packages of stuff internally. The shape of the airframe does not change.
Yeah, unless it gets blown to bits by an Iranian missile. It's going to change a
Wait.
little bit.
So when getting blown up, you magically show no damage where the wing should be?
There's clearly damage, right?
Where?
What do you mean
Okay,
no
right
damage?
here. No. Look, right here. The wing should be right here. Why
The
do I?
wing would-
No,
the
stop,
wing
stop,
would be a
Ethan.
little lower.
Why do I not see a spot where a wing has been ripped off? The wing should have been ripped off right here.
The aircraft is angled.
No, it's not. The center line's right here. I can see the
No,
center
it's
line of the
not.
fuselage.
No, it's not. Okay. It's
I can-
clearly under the other side of that. If you want to defend the Israelis so hard, just go to Tel Aviv
Dude,
and look up a little.
Are
It's
you
like a
so?
flying-
Are you so hell bent on lying?
Let's go to
Are you so hell bent on lying that you're gonna double down and say that's still an F-35?
It's clear, yeah, because it is an F-35.
So like you do realize that like that would be very bad for our country, right? That if you're like you do realize how horrific what you're saying is.
Wait.
Oh, boohoo! The U.S. and Israel worked together, and a fighter jet.
Wait. Do you think this image?
No.
Hang on. What about this?
Makes the
I've got an image.
F-35 special, Ethan? What makes the F-35 special?
Wait. What about this? Do you think this is real too?
Iran shot down the first F-35 in history, flown by a woman. Well, it probably was flown by a woman, but
what about this image? Do you think this? So Iranians all over and pro-Iranians are using this image all over Twitter though, and all over Telegram.
Is that the official IRGC releasing it?
No, because they decided to use the AI generated image. But like Syrian girl lying, I mean, we have the proof right here.
Random person's photo. We're gonna take a random person's photo.
Syrian girl's totally a random girl. She's one of the biggest propagandists online. What about
we're taking her word for it and just saying that that's so we're gonna take that random Twitter user and try to use it in an argument whenever we don't even know who it is. I don't know what kind of lack.
What about that one? Do you think that's an F-35 that was shot down?
The AI image that is being circulated on Twitter by trolls, not by the IRGC.
Wait, so that one's AI, but the other one's not. Oh God.
Yes, those are AI. You're just finding random photos on Twitter now, and just for some reason showing them like it helps your argument. Like these are from random Twitter trolls. They're not from the IRGC.
My
question.
He still hasn't answered my question.
What's your question? I can't hear you.
What makes the F-35 special?
What makes the F-35 special?
Yes, what makes the F-35 special? What makes it special?
Define special. What are we saying special? Subjectively or objectively?
So it's special because it's a stealth fighter like the F-22, right? If Iran
not too stealthy.
It actually is a very stealthy fighter, but if Iran, oh great, so now you're gonna add hominem me, jackass, cool. So
what's the language? We've been very kind and courteous. Jeez.
No, really, I've been mean to you. I've been mean to you.
Well, I'm not the one throwing around curse words. I'm a
Wait,
proud
you mocking
Christian
somebody
American.
is kind and courteous?
Yeah, you mocking me is courteous.
Well, just don't stutter.
Well, you know what? Quit.
I'm sorry that people can't really help what happens naturally with their voice. Some people have stutters.
So here's the issue, right? If Iran has figured out how to get the signature of the F-35, that puts the entire American Air Force, that our entire stealth force, at risk. You don't see how this is a problem?
We don't need to be over Iran.
You want so badly.
So you're agreeing that they shot down the F-35?
Ethan. No, Ethan. What you just did is called a straw man argument. You took what he said, completely misrepresented it, and argued a point he never made. He never said that Iran shot down an F-35 because we know this isn't a fucking F-35. The airframe doesn't just magically change because it slammed into the ground.
Oh, really? And it gets blown to bits by an anti-air?
Dude, so you understand, right, that you want so badly to be right, and you want so badly to be a fucking anti-Semite.
Oh, man, we're using those words? Anti-Semite? My girlfriend's a Semite.
Wait, Ethan, why is it that all 90% of the, and I counted 90% of the comments from the people that you sent over to my Instagram video on you, 90% of the comments were telling me to die and accusing me of being a Jew. I can pull up your comment section right now and pull up that 90% of your commenters and your followers are anti-Semitic as fuck.
Are my commenters
Ethan,
are my commenters
people are not Semitic. There's no such thing as a person that is a Semite.
Yes, they are. The Semitic people are people who spoke the Semitic languages.
It's a language group, not a people.
That's a Semitic language.
That doesn't know.
Yes, it does.
No. Speaking a Semitic language, being a part of a group that is a Semitic language.
So are you German? Are you German, Ethan?
No, I'm not German.
Well, you speak a Germanic language.
Cool.
So you're German, right?
Am I Germanic? Yes, I am Germanic. I'm not German.
Well, am I?
Well, do you speak a Germanic language?
But I'm not anywhere near that blood.
So, but you speak a Germanic language. If your background doesn't go that way, if your background doesn't go through a Germanic ancestry, then you're not Germanic. Just because she speaks Arabic or someone speaks Arabic doesn't make them Semitic. If they're from the region, yes, they're Semitic.
Right, because Semitic refers to languages. Right?
Yes, when you speak a Semitic
you're
language,
talking
that's
about
your
somebody
mother
from the
tongue.
Levantine. Right? Like there's a difference between Levantine, which is somebody from, the Levant, right? And Semitic, right? Because Semitic refers to language types,
Yeah,
right?
so if you speak
What's
a
called an
Semitic language-
Afro-Asiatic language. Does that mean anything to you?
What?
The term Afro-Asiatic Asiatic language?
Yes, that's all the Semitic languages in that area.
Yes, that's all the Semitic languages, right? But not all of them are Semitic, because anti-Semitic refers specifically to the Jewish people, right? Because it's not a hyphenated word.
Oy vey, you're making
First
fun
of all,
the
I'm not a Jew.
Oh my God.
Oy vey.
I'm not
Look,
Jewish.
It's a Semitic. Anything
Wait,
that
who
you're
is
doing,
who is
everything
William
you can
Marr?
to
Who is
defend
William
Israel that you're
Marr?
denying
So,
basic
Wait,
wait a
Ethan,
second.
who
Wait a
is
second.
William Marr?
Ethan, do you believe that a butterfly is a dairy product with wings?
What kind of question
Because
is this?
butter and butterfly are two different things that have the same word in them. Anti-Semitic was quite literally created to make hating Jews seem scientific and more palatable. Because walking around going, yeah, I hate Jews, that wasn't fucking palatable to the rest of the world. It was created. No, I don't care.
Okay, I don't care.
Because people aren't Semites. They speak a Semitic language group.
Yeah. So how are Jews how are the people that don't like them anti-Semitic?
Because the term was created. Because the term was created to apply to Jews.
But that term doesn't even mean that. So if you're calling somebody anti-Semitic, you're saying you don't like people that speak the Semitic language.
No, dude, listen.
You can hijack a word all you want and make people
they didn't
It's not hijacking a word. He coined the word. He created it. William. Oh wait, in 1879, William Marr created the term. He didn't steal the term. He's the one who created it. To be very clear.
Hostile or prejudiced language, prejudice language against Jewish people.
Prejudiced.
Yes, because
what the word means.
Yeah, according to the Oxford Dictionary. Do you think Oxford Dictionary? Hang on. Do you think Oxford Dictionary just went? You know what? We're gonna ignore that this applies to all Semitic language groups. We're just gonna say it just for the Jews. Oxford Dictionary went out of their way to do that.
I'm gonna go play
Helldivers 2. That's not what Semitic means. So.
That's what anti-Semitic means.
Yes,
I'm going to want to know who wrote the Oxford Dictionary. Do you want to know?
I swear to God, if you say a Jew,
Ethan, I'm pressing X to doubt on the fact that you even have a girlfriend. See you later, guys.
See you line.
Did I even have a girlfriend?
So hey,
yeah, I press X to doubt.
Hey, how come? Let's hang on. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the F-30 or the Su-30 that was shot down over Kursk. We're gonna click on.
Look,
this.
Hold up,
article.
I gotta stop you here. If you want to have a discussion about this, we can do it at a later time because I have to do stuff today, and it's a busy day. And
I'm
if
here
you
every
make
night.
another video about me, you can go ahead. Shoot me a message on my Instagram.
Is Netanyahu still in Greece? Is Netanyahu still in Greece?
Is Netanyahu still in Greece? No, not anymore.
Yes.
Thank you.
Not anymore. Was he ever?
Yes, he was.
So why did the government say he wasn't?
Because of course the Israeli government is going to
not the Israeli government. I'm talking about the Greek government. The Greek government. No, the Greek government clarified that he was not there.
Yes, because the Greek government under international law would be forced to arrest Netanyahu. So of course they're not going to go, he's here, we didn't arrest him.
Wait. So why was there not any verified sources that said he was in Greece?
Because yes, there was verified sources. There was
Which
plenty
one?
of sources.
Which one?
Oh God, I got to pull up sources, but none of y'all have to. You can pull up random Google.
None of y'all. You're saying y'all. I was not
have to
arguing
do
the same points they were.
you
To
need
be
an
very clear, I would have argued it
Have you ever
entirely
looked at a
different. So I didn't make
firecracker
those
in your
points. So
life?
stop trying to apply the same standards to somebody who didn't even use the same claims as them.
I wish I could hear
Iranian news, the IRNA, which has literally used the Onion as a source before, which is satire. If you didn't know that already.
Yeah, the Onion is satire. Way to point that out.
Yes, and they have used the IRNA has used the Onion before historically as a accurate source. So it was very popular if you know anything about Iranian news here.
That means that everything they put out is incorrect just because of that.
No, that's not saying that, but they're not a credible source.
So
that's saying that they are not a credible source, sweetie.
Oh, that's not a credible source. Do you know that PBS, NBC, CBS is funded by the American government? We're going to call them a credible source?
Funded by the American government is not given direction by the American government.
Oh,
You
but
know
you're
the
funded
difference between the two, and that's
state-funded
fine.
media. Are
That's
we
fine.
listening to
If you
state-funded
don't know the
Are-
difference between given
hang on.
direction and given money, that's not the
I'd-
same thing. If
I'd
you have a
s-
problem with those sources, that's fine. That's why I didn't use any of them. But if we're specifically talking about the IRNA using the Onion, if you're using a fucking like Nick Fuentes, if you're having those kind of people on your broadcast, you're probably not a credible organization.
I'd still like to point out that Ethan is
Fuentes
claiming
is
that this
very
plane
credible, but
is the
okay.
same as this plane. That they're the same
Clearly
thing.
is.
Also, since when did Israel put it? Okay, when did Israel start putting a Green Star of David on the back of their planes?
I guess recently.
Really? Because this is a recent shot of their F-35s. These are Israeli
Recent.
F-35s. Yeah.
Give me the date, the time, the origin, and who took the photo. Thanks.
Oh, cool. So can I expect the same metadata from this photo?
Yeah, IRGC. And what was it, a few days ago? And I can give you the exact time it was taken, too.
But where? Where was it taken?
Iran. I mean,
Where? Where in Iran?
Iran. Where in Iran? I can't tell you the exact probably near Tehran.
Let's see. Side view.
I gotta take a shower. It's about time. I gotta go on to town.
Yes,
go,
wash
go,
that ass.
go back to lying on your videos. I'm gonna clip the shit out of this because that was absolutely fucking hilarious. Holy shit.
The way he pronounced prejudice was so weird. I think he may be Russian.
Hey
Oh,
guys,
he let
Sam,
it. His,
I just
let
wanted
his
to come
accent
up.
slip. What's up?
How you doing? I'm a photographer. I work with Photoshop a lot.
Mhm.
If you pull up the picture that he's claiming is an F-35.
Are you going to talk about the artifacting?
Yeah. No, I'm also talking about the Star of David. Okay, if you look at that, if you're going to see that the angle and the photograph that was taken from and superimposed onto that, it is flat. It's not following the curve of the fuselage already.
Yeah,
That's
because
a
if it
dead
would,
giveaway.
if it did, the point would be right here. The point would be
Exactly,
right here.
exactly. Not just that, it's not sharp. And if you look at other images of the